Hi guys, Paleo Greenbird here. Thanks for joining me, and I thought today I would do a video on sort of like prepper survival type of material. And today's topic is going to be what's in your pocket. So you know, if you're at all into prepping, you know that it's good to have an everyday carry kit, a car kit. You probably have your bug out bag, your bug in bag, your get home bag. There's all kinds of stuff. It can be very overwhelming. But today I wanted to get right down to the basics. So should an event happen right now, you're at work or you're shopping at the grocery store or you're at the beach, wherever you are, it happens right now. What do you have in your pocket right now that's going to help you survive? Because that's what's most important. So I'm going to empty my pockets, and I challenge all of you out there to do the same and leave in the comments if there's anything that you have that's better than what I have, or vice versa. But I'm going to start by my phone. Obviously, we always all have that on us. I've got my credit cards, my chapstick. I have a little Gerber knife, little folder that I always carry with me. I've beat the heck out of this one, but it still survives. My keychain. Okay. There's one other item that I usually have on me, but we're not going to talk about that in this video. So this is what I have to survive, basically. If I need to get home, or I need to get to safety, or God forbid I can't get to either one of those. So this is what I have every day. My keychain here, just wanted to point out, I have two very important things. I have a fire striker. This is a ferro rod. This is a pretty substantially thick one. I've had this one for several years. I use it a lot. And then I have my little Bear Grylls multi-tool. Got some pliers there. It's got a few blades. Got a sharp blade on this side. Saw blade on this side. And then a bunch of other little things that are pretty much useless. But that's what I have. It's not very heavy. I do have my keychain separated into two sections here. So you'll see I have this keychain, and then I have this one, which is sort of more of a breakaway. All I have to do is undo this barrel clasp here, and I can lighten my load, just take what's important to me, leave the rest of these keys behind, come back and get them later if I need to. Also on my keychain, you'll notice that I have these two sets of keys here. One of them are red, and one of them is blue. I do have corresponding locked containers that are also marked red and blue, and that's because if I need to access my items in urgently, I know I don't have to fumble around with my keys. I know which ones go to which locks. That's pretty important. Got my house keys and a couple other keys that I know what they go to. So so I have a pretty decent, just very, very basic kit that's on me at all times. I've always got my keys, my knife, my chapstick, my phone, my credit cards. So I have the ability to pay for something if I need to. I can communicate with my family, hopefully, if I'm able to do so. I've got chapstick, which, I'm kind of addicted to chapstick, so I need that. But also, it's good fire accelerant. I've got my knife, which, you obviously know what that's good for. Then I've got my multi-tool and my fire striker. So at least I can get fire. I can hunker down if I have to until I can either get to my EDC kit in my car, or till I can get to safety, or I can find maybe some other people who have other other items that I can contribute to, and they can help me as well as I can help them. So I challenge you to ask yourself, what do you have on yourself on a daily basis? Should you not have access to your EDC kit? Should you not have access to any bug out material? Maybe you're just shopping at Walmart, or you're going to the mall, or you're at your job, and you get stuck in a situation where nothing else is available to you, because those are the things you really want to be prepared for. Because if you don't have your gear, you can be very gear driven, which is dangerous, because you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars on gear, but how can you always have that gear on you? you never know what you're going to need and what you're going to have on you and what the situation is. There's all kinds of different scenarios, whether, you know, different types of natural disasters, different types of man-made disasters, socio-political disasters, you know, the zombie apocalypse. You never know. So it's good to, you know, have a good grip on what you can, how you can be self-reliant at any given time. So all right, I'm gonna stop preaching on that. The other thing that I would say is, you know, before you spend a dime on gear, you know, maybe you can stock up on food here and there if you want to have your preps for, you know, should you need food. But before you buy all these fancy gadgets and everything else, I would say feed your brain. So learn how to forage your area for edibles, should you need to. Learn how to identify edible mushrooms, and more importantly, learn how to identify poisonous mushrooms. Learn the difference. Anytime that you learn how to identify something, always try and look up or learn the look-alike. I always do that. Anytime I discover, or anytime I learn a wild edible, I immediately, you know, go right to Google and I say, you know, what are the look-alikes that of this plant? And I tend to gravitate towards the plants that don't really have a lot of look-alikes for safety purposes, but it's just good to know. This is a great book here, Back to Basics, and this really isn't, you know, a survival or primitive skills book, but it does teach you things that have been lost throughout the generations. You know, the basics of, you know, how to build post and beam homes without any nails or anything like that, just by using, you know, wood pegs or the shapes of the grooves that you create. How to build a proper garden, a proper homestead, what grows with what, you know, where to put your mulch versus where to put your garden, where to put your animals, you know, to be most conducive to the homestead. So you know, that's a great book. And this right here is the Boyars Bible. I like this just because I'm really into archery, so probably, you know, not something everybody needs to read. But my point is that, you know, feed your brain with as much knowledge as you possibly can, because that's something that weighs nothing, and it's also something that will reduce your need for gear. You know, if you know how to make a primitive fire in 3 different ways, who cares if you have a fire striker or matches or a lighter or any of that stuff in your fire kit? You have that in your brain. You know, if you know how to build a shelter and you know how to build cordage out of natural material, well, now you can reduce the, you know, you don't need to bring your tarp, you don't need to bring any cordage. You know, if you know how to catch fish naturally by building a fish trap or a crab trap or whatever it is, now you don't need fishing line, you don't need hooks. I mean, it just lightens your load. So as much as you can, you know, pack your brain full of knowledge will reduce the weight of your pack. And that's significant because, you know, it's easy to build a big pack of all this gear, and then you don't realize that, you know, you have to haul that stuff around, and who knows how long you have to haul it around for. So if you don't practice that, if you don't haul that gear every day or a couple times a week for at least 2 or 3 miles, 3 or 4 miles, you know, you're never going to know what it's like to have to bring that gear with you. And, you know, in a real situation, you're probably going to end up having to ditch it. So I hope this helps, and I plan on doing another video on the different types of bug out bags that you can have. So, but that's a different video. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share, subscribe, like. If you have anything that you'd like to put in the comments, I know that in the prepping community and survival community, there's a lot of hot topics, no pun intended. So, you know, if there's anything you'd like to add or any questions that you have, you know, my specialty, or I shouldn't say my specialty, but my area of interest and focus is in primitive living skills. But I think it's important to also have some basic prepping and survival skills as well to complement that. So thanks for joining me. I hope that you found this video entertaining and beneficial, and I look forward to seeing you next time. This is Paleo Greenbird signing out. Bye, guys.